gentlemen. Wow, I've never seen so many smiling faces on the beach, including Jeanette and Nikki, who support the Red Arrows. You might have seen them if you're towards the commentary point here. They always come in their red t-shirts supporting the Red Arrows. Jeanette, Nikki,
did he
what
see
do you
that,
think of
did
it?
you?
Oh, brilliant as
See the
always.
Red
It's never a
Arrows?
bad show, is there?
Did he see
It's
the Red
always
Arrows?
great. We missed them last year, but we had a double dose this year.
Where are
I
you?
know, we did. Wherever you see them, whether it be on the A12 or a full display, they always get your heart racing. It's brilliant.
Don't you think, ladies and gentlemen, we always give them a really warm welcome in Essex,
Okay,
don't we?
I'm by the
Fantastic.
BBC
Ian,
Essex
from the
Road.
commentary point, you can probably see the thousands of people who've enjoyed this.
We can, and we heard them, and so did Graham actually, and he had a real poignant smile actually when we heard that round of applause for him. I think, it was a really, really wonderful display, a rolling display, Sam Williams, because of Cloud, but absolutely breathtaking as always.
What a way to start day 2 of Clacton Air Show with the RAF Red Arrows.
Now the time is 1:25.
Don't miss our party in Highlands Park. Here we go! You can still get tickets for Sunday the 7th of September. We're bringing an incredible lineup full of stars.
Essex is going to be awesome.
Are you ready?
If you want
We're so excited to be back home in Essex for Radio 2 in the park. I mean, I'm on the same stage as Def Leppard for the weekend. I mean, that's pretty cool.
This is the only UK gig that we're playing this year. So it's going to be massive. Get your tickets now.
Go on, give yourself something to look forward to at the end of summer.
Go to bbc.co.uk/Radio 2 in the park.
The Clacton Air Show
on BBC Essex and BBC Sounds.
Basically, emotional areas actually that we fly over all the cemeteries, pretty close by. So, I mean, actually, when we fly home, we probably fly straight over time what's going on. So, very cool. It is.
Tony, thank you so much for seeing us on BBC Essex, and we can't wait for the display this afternoon.
Thank you very much, and it's totally a pleasure to be here again. You know, like we love coming to Clacton.
Radio Air Show.
BBC Essex.
And Tony in the Bronco will follow our wonderful Rich Goodwin in his Pitts aircraft, that bright blue aircraft that's just snuck in from the right-hand side. It arrived with that wonderful, that manoeuvre of it just sort of hanging in the sky, Sam Williams, as it drifted along from the Martello Tower and towards the pier.
Yes, he likes to make an entrance, doesn't he, Rich Goodwin, on arrival. That was the knife edge pass, which is one of my fan favourites. We're going to be seeing some ultimate aerobatics now, with some twirling, some spinning, some rolling, plenty of G and high energy fun. So get your cameras ready, because this is going to be an absolute delight. Pulling up into the vertical there. He's powered by a 6-cylinder, 8.5-litre Lycoming engine, producing over 300 horsepower. It has an excellent power-to-weight ratio. The aircraft is incredibly lightweight, weighing just 700 kilograms. And a top speed of over 200 miles an hour. Rich will be pulling G up to 6G -5 during the display. Now his aircraft is a GJ Pitt is the registration, and it's built from scratch. It took him around 4 years to build the aircraft, based on a Pitts S2S fuselage, and it incorporates lots of tested modifications to the aircraft, not least a huge wing, a massive wing area, giving it a phenomenal roll rate, massive ailerons, and better low-speed handling. Now you'll see there that Rich is literally just pausing in the sky, going at 0 miles per hour, hanging the aircraft from the prop as he then tumbles down, gaining some airspeed, ready to pull it into the next manoeuvre. We've got a phenomenal smoke system with the smoke trailing behind him. And yes, it is environmentally friendly smoke that he uses during the displays. Tumbling on the top there. Now during the display, Rich will be looking at his position over the display area, making sure he's the appropriate distance from the crowd. He will be looking at the wind, checking the temperature of the engine and the oil, meanwhile making sure he's at the right point on his routine. How is the aircraft behaving? How is he feeling? And is he on schedule? So much to think about. These aerobatic pilots are very talented. A lovely little side slip there with a smoke trailing. He's pointing out towards the wind farm, and there he is pausing momentarily, not even moving. I mean, Ian, what do you think about that?
That's amazing. He's just like hovering in the sky. It's incredible to see this biplane just hover almost like a helicopter would.
And there he was, just gently sliding down, a tail slide down slowly, and then pulling away. You'll notice, Ian, that in times in the display, there's moments like this where he just kind of gathers himself, resettles the aircraft before pulling into another high-energy manoeuvre. One of the talents of aerobatic routines is the on-off aerobatics. One moment going super slowly or not even moving, and the next minute high-speed twirling.
Climbing high into the sky, turning as he goes, and now down again. That smoke, that environmentally friendly smoke trailing out the back. Smoke is now off as Rich now makes his way along the seafront from left to right, giving us a nice view of the undercarriage.
Now this is based on a pit special aircraft, but the standard pit gear has been removed and the engine mount modified to take the titanium sprung gear legs, and then there's a new shape and carbon cowling to reduce weight and profile drag. It's a modified rudder design which gives it a better look and more powerful yaw control, which basically means where you can move the aircraft side to side. It has new rings, as I mentioned, and an absolutely amazing roll rate. Now, ordinarily, this aircraft is fitted with two ATM linked jet turbine engines, powering up to 700 pounds of thrust. But at the moment, those engines are away in Holland for maintenance. So today, Rich is flying just with the 8.5 litre Lycoming engine.
But he's doing just as good a job with that, isn't he? Flying, inverted now. Yes, it's a little bit of upside down flying.
Now, of course, when you're flying upside down, the controls are literally backward. If you want to go down, you have to pull up. So you literally need to wire your brain backwards to be able to perform the manoeuvres. And there he is, climbing up, gaining speed, pulling up into a loop, diving down towards the sea, just above the Coast Guard there, smoke trailing. And another knife edge pass. And twirling at the top.
It really is a fantastic sight. Bit of sun now breaking through the clouds, a little bit of blue coming, glinting on those wings. Actually, I mentioned this yesterday. The colour of this Pitts aircraft is sky blue. It's bright blue. And yesterday when he arrived, the clouds parted and we saw some blue. And it's happened again today. We met Rich yesterday on BBC Essex, and you know, he's a fit chap. You really have to be, Sam, don't you? I mean, people might think you're just sitting in an aircraft with the controls, but the physical toll on your body to do this is incredible.
It is, and peak physical fitness is absolute priority for aerobatic pilots if they're to actually be comfortable and capable of flying these high-energy manoeuvres. And in fact, both yesterday and today, Rich went for a morning run with the Firebirds pilots, and they went for like a 45-minute run before breakfast.
And then decimated the breakfast buffet, apparently.
Yeah, I think they went for thirds. Now, the Pitts is known around the world as the Pitts Special's revolutionary design, popular in aerobatic competitions. They fly recreationally and for air displays, but the oranges of the aircraft date back to the 1940s, when Curtis Pitts in the USA designed the original aircraft, which took to the skies in 1944. This aircraft is the legacy of that type, albeit a modernised variant that's produced today. But it's true testament to Curtis's design and work that 80 years on, the Pitts Special is still flying. Now, the second ever Pitts that was built was an aircraft that was owned by a famous pilot called Betty Skelton. She's one of my aviation heroes. Now, she bought the second Pitts Special, and she called it the Little Stinker. And she would go and fly at air shows and do a clever little trick where she got a member of the public to hold a pole up and another member of her team hold the other pole with a ribbon across. She would fly inverted upside down and cut the ribbon with the wings of the aeroplane.
Fabulous. Actually, talking about women in aviation, it's sad that we couldn't have Melanie Asdell with us at Clacton this year. She was very much hoping to be here. You'll see her in your programme, which they are still available, £6 from the Seafront sellers. And unfortunately, Melanie can't be here because of a little problem with the aircraft. But Melanie is a world champion, a French aviation aerobatic champion, and has been involved with the Red Bull Air Race, which is unusual for a woman, it has to be said, Sam.
She's the first and only woman to have flown on the Red Bull Air Race. She's also not just the French aerobatic champion, but I believe she's the current British aerobatic champion as well.
But it's good to mention her, and hopefully we'll see her at future Clacton air shows. Well, that was absolutely epic. I think...
So it's another knife-edge pass. Look at that absolute precision as he holds the aircraft on a 45-degree angle, smoke trailing from behind, the roar of that 8.5-litre Lycoming engine thrusting past us. Now, Rich is a ex-RAF Tornado pilot and a retired commercial airline pilot. He used to fly Boeing 767s. So he may have flown you on your holidays at some stage. He's been flying aerobatics for more than 30 years. He's also flied the Hawk in advanced flying training, but the buzz and thrill of spinning an aircraft around the sky has never left him, and he absolutely adores flying aerobatics.
I'm not sure how I'd feel if I was strapped in ready to go off to, you know, Alicante or something, and I heard the announcement, your pilot is Rich Goodwin. I'd obviously be reassured in some ways, but I'd be a little nervous as well.
I think you're in very capable hands.
No funny stuff. No funny stuff on the 737s.
Now, Rich has already performed at 20 air shows so far this year. He's been performing in the UK and France. Now, after this show, he'll be going over to the Channel Islands, back to France, and more shows in the UK, performing at air shows and private events. So if you're looking for something a bit different, perhaps for a special occasion, maybe a wedding, Rich is available.
And as he heads off back to Clacton Aero Club, where he's going to be landing, shall we give a great big round of applause, Clacton? Let's hear it for Rich Goodwin in his Pitts aircraft.
can follow BBC Essex almost anywhere. In the garden, in the pub, cheers, or in the bathroom.
You're out of the water, even though it looks so inviting whilst the planes are flying. But rest assured, after about 4:30ish, when the last display leaves us, you can get in that water and cool off. It does look very inviting as the sun is glistening on it. Bank holiday weekend. Stick with BBC Essex. Sonia, Sadie and the sports team with you on Bank Holiday Monday. But as we say goodbye to Rich Goodwin, we say hello to Tony de Bruyn in his Bronco. Yes, this is the one with those bright orange markings that we were talking about just a moment ago. A rather unusual looking aircraft, Sam, with the twin propeller and twin tails.
Yes, absolutely. This is the North American Rockwell OV-10 Bronco, and it was designed in the 1960s, predominantly for use in hostile conditions. The huge fin at the back and the wide wingspan allows the aircraft for a short takeoff and landing, because this aircraft was designed to land on roads and hills and jungle-like conditions and used in operations in Vietnam and the Philippines.
It's got such a distinctive look in the sky as it passes now over the Gunfleet wind farms that we were talking about earlier, coming back now towards the end of the pier. A great view if you're watching on the end of the pier, and good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us on BBC Essex. The light is on, he's coming towards sun catching those bright orange wingtips as Tony banks round very high in the sky. We get that distinctive look with that twin tail. Bit of smoke coming out, coming down much lower now for a great photo. Seeing the belly of the aircraft, and the cargo area, Sam, can hold quite a lot of stuff. 2,400 pounds of cargo, 6 paratroopers or 2 stretchers with a medic. Just give you a little bit of a concept of context of the capabilities of this aircraft.
So it's an American turboprop light attack and observation aircraft developed in the 1960s, especially for counterinsurgency combat, and one of its primary missions is as a forward advanced control aircraft. It was in fact designed by 2 US Marines who built the concept in their garage. The aircraft would have flown the first ever flight on July 1965, and it served in 3 US branches from 65 until 95, the Air Force, the Navy and the Marines.
Lots of boats out to sea in the safe zone, watching the aircraft from the other side, including one of those barges, those Thames barges. I'm guessing that will be Thistle on her 130th birthday. Apologies if it's Pudge, but I know Thistle was planning to be here to celebrate its 130th birthday at the Clacton Air Show. Good afternoon to you if you're on board and tuned in to us. Oh, that's nice. That's what you call a wing waggle.
That was a ginormous wing waggle. Now Tony's really showing off the capabilities of the aircraft there. So when they were actually used in a kind of combat situation, the Bronco would be used for armour protection. It has bullet-resistant windshields, self-sealing fuel cells. It's ideal for operating in a hostile environment. The Bronco can loiter for up to 3 hours at speeds of 350 miles per hour. And it would have been seen in countries such as Germany, Thailand, Venezuela and Indonesia. As we said earlier, the Vietnam War used them, as well as in the Philippines.
I love the fact that the original idea was for it to be amphibious. I think that would have been absolutely amazing. Tony would have loved that, wouldn't he?
Oh, he would have loved it, for sure. He's doing a deep dive now, look Ian, as he comes down towards the Thames barges to the centre of the display line. The gear is down. Now that gear was designed to allow the Bronco to land on roads. It can also operate from an aircraft carrier. And Tony's flown the Bronco over from his base at Wilvenhelm at Kortrijk in Belgium, just on the area of the Flanders fields. Takes him about 30 minutes to fly to Clacton. Now those of you that have long camera lenses or seen photographs of the Bronco will notice that the aircraft is in a dark green colour with the orange tips, but it also has German markings. The reason for that is the Belgian airfield where Tony was based from was started by the Germans in World War I as a fighter base, and in honour of that, for messages of peace and reconciliation, Tony chose to leave the original markings of that aircraft.
We heard from him on BBC Essex just a few moments to say, as we look to the skies, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please welcome from the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, we have the Spitfire and we have the Hurricane.
So we have the Spitfire Mark 19 flying for you this afternoon, and the Hurricane Mark 2C. This Hurricane is 80 years old this year, and it's flown by Al Luckins this afternoon. The Spitfire is flown by Andy Priest.
Oh, it's a scene, it's funny.
We are so honoured and privileged to have these two aircraft with us Such history, aviation history in the skies above us as they bank round in formation. Again, if you're at the end of the pier, you'll get a lovely view as they now pass over those boats. Loads of boats out to sea today, watching and listening to BBC Essex, and they're coming now gradually towards us here on the seafront for a much closer look at these two legends of the sky.
The Spitfire, the most famous military aircraft of all time and arguably one of the most beautiful ever built. The Spitfire is perhaps chiefly remembered as the symbol of the Battle of Britain. Meanwhile, the Hawker Hurricane is the unsung hero of the Battle of Britain. This aircraft, born from the famous Hawker design stable, was the creation of the great Sidney Cam and was his response to the RAF's urgent requirement for a low-wing monoplane fighter to balance the threat from Nazi Germany and its rearmament during the mid-1930s.
I've heard pilots in the past say that the Hurricane was one of the hardest aircraft to fly. As we see it now leading the Spitfire again past us, we get a wonderful view of the undercarriage of both aircraft as they sweep round and over towards a very large vessel out there. Actually, I'm not sure if that's a wind farm
Fixer-upper
service vehicle or it's a fixer-upper, but it's a massive boat right out there. And they're zooming now into the sky away from us. The Spitfire, Sam, one of the latter versions that we had. This one, the Mark 19.
Yes, the Mark 19 Spitfire, and this particular version was used for photo reconnaissance. One of the last ever built.
The growth in Spitfire squadrons was just simply incredible. By the outbreak of war in 1939, 9 squadrons were equipped. In spite of vigorous demands from France, the Commander-in-Chief of Fighter Command refused to send any Spitfires to France during the German Blitzkrieg of 1940. The wisdom of that decision was clearly shown. By July 1940, RAF Fighter Command had 19 Spitfire Mark I squadrons available. Once the RAF modified their tactics to properly counter the Luftwaffe, the Spitfire Mark I proved to be the only British fighter capable of meeting the Messerschmitt on equal terms. Often the outcome of a combat depended more on the quality of the pilot than his aircraft. More Spitfires were built than any other British combat aircraft before or since World War II, a total of 20,341.
Now this particular Spitfire, as we said, was the Mark 19, registration PM631. She currently resides with the Bigham Hill Heritage Hangar, and they restored her into the colour markings that she would have had at the first ever flight of the historic aircraft flight, the predecessor to BBMF, which took to the air on the 11th of July 1957. And as the aircraft fly past us on the seafront there, you'll see the beautiful blue colour scheme with the yellow propeller spinner. Flying the Spitfire this afternoon is Flight Lieutenant Andy Priest, MBE. He has over 4,000 hours on 13 aircraft types, notably the Tornado GR1, the Hawk and Harrier GR7. Later in his career, he was the tutor display pilot. He's been with the BBMF for 6 years.
Just listening to the blend of the two aircraft engines as they flew past our microphones here at the BBC Essex commentary point. I hope even if you're listening maybe thousands of miles away from the county, you'll have heard that, and I guess you might have had the same goosebumps that I had. I'm lucky enough to be able to see them too.
And of course there's a double whammy, Ian, because we've got the Merlin engine in the Hurricane and the Griffin engine in the Spitfire, which was introduced into the latter editions of the Spitfire in the later part of the war. They were considered the more advanced, powerful engines, which helped in the success to ultimate victory.
2,050 horsepower engines, I mean, it's just incredible.
Now this Hurricane, PZ865, was 80 years old last month in July. It was the last model of